beautiful. It has all the levels of finishings that you could possibly think of, and the home itself speaks to grandeur. All right, guys, so welcome to another Foxy TV. This week we thought we'd go through some of our thought process in the styling team when we have different demographics and the conversations and the thoughts, the different elements that we'll play around with and change depending on who the target audience is that we feel that might be purchasing the property. Now, when it comes to deciding who's going to be the most likely demographic who will be purchasing the property, a lot of that comes down to our experience in the property market. So having done this now for 8 years, I have a really very thorough understanding of the market here in Brisbane. If I ever have any sort of questions over some, there are definitely some properties with more unique layouts, more unique styles that pop up every now and then, where I will definitely have a conversation with a real estate agent. But most of the time I have a really great gauge on who's going to be our most likely buyer and price point of the home. If we are really trying to push the mark on a property and we're really trying to aim for the higher end of a price bracket, we'll have a very good conversation with the agent about those ones in particular as well. A lot of what we do is done hand in hand. We're a really great partnership as far as a stylist and a real estate agent go, and also bringing in the client as well. We have 3 examples today that we're going to talk through. These examples will go through all levels of buyers. So we're going to first look at entry-level buyer, most likely being either an investment property or a first home buyer. This is a unit in the southern suburbs of Brisbane. It's close enough that it's still only a half-hour trip into the city, but far away enough that it's still a price point that's achievable for a first home buyer in an area that is going to see great rental yield returns for an investor. The second one is also on the south side, but in the more, I would say, prestigious area of the suburbs, in the more prestigious suburbs of Brisbane, over in Rochdale. Now, this is definitely, it's an ex-display home. It's beautiful. It has all the levels of finishings that you could possibly think of, and the home itself speaks to grandeur. So this home, whilst the rooms are all very large, they're all queen size rooms, we do only have the 2 living spaces. So this is a downsizer home. It's someone who still wants to have prestige and luxury, but we're sort of stepping down that level from a much larger family home. So that brings me into our third property, which is very much a family property. One of the ones where you've got mum and dad, you've got a couple of kids, and you've got another one on the way, and you need more space. You need space for the kids to be able to pop their toys. You need space for the kids to have their own. You need space for mum and dad to stay sane. That's very much where I am in life at the moment. So I am the target buyer. Whenever we walk through those properties, I know exactly what they're looking at. All right, guys, so today we are in a unit. This particular unit is in the southern suburbs of Brisbane. We aren't necessarily in an affluent suburb. We are just run-of-the-mill everyday Aussies in this suburb. So we aren't necessarily targeting for a high-end luxury demographic. We are going for pieces that are familiar and feel comfortable for anybody that will walk through this door. So this is first home buyer. This is mum and dad investor. That's sort of who we're targeting. This is where it's very affordable, this range of the market. The area we're in, as far as a unit complex goes, we won't be hitting the $1 million mark for this type of property here. So this is very achievable for someone looking to enter the market. So our brief here, and we're going for that level of buyer, is to ensure that the pieces are familiar, the layout makes sense, and we are appealing to as many people as we can. So in a property when it's darker, brick inherently makes everything darker. It sucks up all the light, so we're here to make it lighter and brighter. The cosmetic reno that's been done in this particular property had a Hamptons Luxe vibe. So we've got Hamptons type sconces on the wall, we have a Carrara marble type bench top that's gone in, and it's all leaning towards more of a Hamptons feel. That plus the styling, which we've gone with a little bit of a level up compared to what you normally see, are pairing together to try and bring the price point up. So you can see lighter colour fabrics, lighter colour artwork. This particular agent liked lots of greenery, so very vibrant through the greenery that we're going to bring in. Floor lamps, table lamps, all those sorts of things. Now, the greenery in this particular property, you will see, we're not going to go for florals. There might be some natives, there might be some little pops of like maybe a magnolia spray or something like that, but overwhelmingly we go for greenery. So what do I mean by that? I mean by olive tree greenery branches, or magnolia branches, or just the actual leaf itself, not the florals.
Florals tend to miss the point with this level of buyer. We reserve those for a different type of buyer, which we'll discuss later on. But that's very much what's in the forefront of our mind when we're going through and doing selections for this type of buyer.
This one here we're going to walk through now. This is Dell Street. This is on the market now. This will likely, it's on through the market with Ray White. So Ray White liked to go to auction. I imagine this one's going to go to auction. And as I press play, we'll talk through the differences that you will see when we're doing a downsizer property. So first off, you can see we've gone for more gold, ivory and luxe statements. It's a brand new sideboard there from Globe West, I believe. But all the way through, you're going to see marble, gold, linens, everything is going to be carried all the way through. Emily on her phone. Now, lots of greenery. Greenery is something you're going to see throughout all of our properties, but we change up the types of greenery we use in certain properties. In these ones, you're going to see more natives, you're going to see more resin spreads. There's a magnolia spray, you'll see traditional magnolias and magnolia leaves. You're going to see a lot of mirrors. Playing around with the light, as you can see with those light fixtures, that playing around with the light and how it falls in a property, that speaks to luxury. Lots and lots of feather-filled cushions. That is very different to how we styled Basswood Street. Now, feather-fill can be received really, really well, but I find normally entry-level buyers, it's received less well. Polyester fill are definitely what we go with. Lots of glass artwork in these ones. Shaded lamps, everything just steps up that level. This gorgeous desk is from One World, and it's absolutely beautiful. And you can see in all of the bedrooms what Emily has done is lots of layers. So we've got coverlets, we've got throw rugs, we've got multiple cushions. Whereas at Basswood Street, you would see that generally those multiple layers were really only in the first bedroom. And bedroom 2 didn't really show and have the same number of layers as everything else. So our styling here is very much reflecting all of the fixtures in the home. Gold and white. All right, so Condon Street, this is a beautifully renovated home in the east suburbs of Brisbane. It is a beautiful big Carindale home. Carindale has some gorgeous big properties on some nice big blocks. So this is what we would say is a traditional Carindale home. You have a formal living and a formal dining. You've got multiple living spaces across multiple levels, 5 bedrooms as well as multiple outdoor spaces. Now, we've gone with a really fresh colour palette in here. We've made sure that it stayed nice and relaxed. You can see comfy couches, you can see family familiar spaces, lots of timber, lots of more relaxed linens in the living room, not necessarily glass and not, well, we did have 2 very white sofas in this one, but we don't go with the volumes of white that you see in all the other styling that we do traditionally do. So there's before and afters here. You can see the impact that the styling has in spaces like this, particularly when you've got a TV bracket up on the wall and what could feel a little dated with those birch timbers. The styling has really done wonders in those spaces for really trying to update and modernise what we've got in there. The styling up here in particular up on this landing space, this landing space could lend itself to many different ways. It could go down a living space, which was how we've styled it, and that looks gorgeous with that oversized artwork. It could also be a study nook. This house doesn't have an office space, so we could have done a desk chair setup up there with some armchairs. Either or would have received well by the family market, given that generally in a family home you do need a study space. I'm not sure if we did a single bed in here because they were all really large bedrooms, but had we done a single bed in here it would have definitely been styled with a study space. But you can see the girls getting everything together. On a property like this, we have multiple stylists on site because it is very big and lots of artwork to hang. And then I think as we were finishing up, the blind guys rocked up and hung up a heap of blinds. So all in all, you can see the difference in how that styles. It's more family friendly. It's more robust. It's just what is familiar to those buyers.